I don't think you should be making videos about your childhood, McMahon. Well, it's too late. I've already got it in mind. So, yeah, this morning I don't know how this happened. Ladies and gentlemen, I stumbled upon a real estate website featuring the home of my youth. 5700 Venado Court, San Jose, California. I lived there between 1968 and 1971. I just wanted to see if I could see my house. Oh yeah, I saw my house all right. I saw it, man. I saw my bedroom. I saw my bathroom. I saw the toilet, the bathtub. I saw the fruit trees in the backyard, the walnut tree, the plum tree, the apricot tree, the peach tree, the loquat tree. It was insane. These beautiful memories came pouring out of me this morning. My mother canning peach preserves and apricot preserves with the neighbors in this euphoric summer ritual. Oh my God, Americans used to come together. Oh, the nostalgia. And then I see my bathtub. That's my bathtub. I played with Sesame Street puppets from Avon. I had Mr. Bubble Bath. Wow, man, what a blast to the past. And it was in a cul-de-sac, a court. I lived in a court. I love living in a court. It felt so exclusive, and I loved the fact that there was very little traffic. It was just such a beautiful place. So I looked at the price of the home, the value of it. It was purchased in the last year, but it's worth $1.3 million in San Jose, California, which actually lower than I thought it would be. My house here in Southern California is also worth $1.3 million. And I thought, this perverse part of me thought about selling my house here and just buying my old childhood house, all the dreams. Well, of course that wouldn't work, because it would be a horror story to go back to my childhood home. Not because it would be scary, but because living there would be mundane and banal and dull and jejune to live in the real world. Because really what attracted to me to that website was all the nostalgia, all the memories. You can't live in the real world and have that compete with the enchantment of childhood memories. So, Thomas Wolfe said, you can never go home again. And I guess he's right. But, today's topic really is that maybe I can't go back to Venado Court of my childhood, but I can go to the Venado Court of my watch hobby. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about going back to Venado Court, not to my childhood, but of my watch hobby. By the way, this is a Seiko SLA023 MM300 on a OEM waffle strap. Rather like it. Playing a little cosplay. Look at this. I'm not even a diver. I'm just doing cosplay here. So, what do I mean by returning to the Venado Court of my childhood as a watch hobbyist? What I mean is the word cul-de-sac. That's a fascinating word, cul-de-sac. It's hyphenated, it's French. The original meaning has to do with human anatomy, sacs or vessels that are closed at one end. The common application today would be a residential neighborhood, a passage that leads to nowhere. I love that definition, a passage that leads to nowhere. This is pretty much my watch hobby. A passage that leads to nowhere. My watch hobby journey has brought me to a cul-de-sac, a place that leads to nowhere. So you can interpret a place that leads to nowhere in one of two ways. On one hand, it sounds horrible. It's a dead end. It's a trap. It's a place where there's no more journey. You've stopped. You're in a state of stagnation. Yes, I concede that. But on the other hand, a cul-de-sac is a final and desirable destination. It is a place of boundaries. And boundaries are really important to me as a watch obsessive. For me to define my watch obsessive ways to someone who doesn't know anything about it, and I think a lot of you guys do, I think a lot of you guys will relate to this. For me, to be a watch obsessive is to be in a state of perpetual madness. I actually think making this video is doing cosplay, with a diver that I don't need, a 300 Marine Master. Really? What are you, Jacques Cousteau? Cosplay. So I need boundaries as a watch obsessive. I need a cul-de-sac. And in a way, I found a cul-de-sac. Because I have a handful of retro divers on Tropic or Waffle straps. And I didn't plan this. It wasn't an intellectual strategy. It was spontaneous. It was unconscious. Perhaps it was an unconscious desire to go back to Venado Court of my childhood between 1968 and 1971. I don't know. But as I describe this cul-de-sac of my mind and of my watch hobby and the boundaries that pertain to a cul-de-sac, it's a place where you hit a dead end, but it could also be boundaries as well. It's a place leading to nowhere. I love that. So I'm thinking of a 3.5-hour podcast I heard a few days ago. Chris Williamson of Modern Wisdom Podcast. So he interviews Jordan Peterson for 3.5 hours. And Jordan Peterson says something that stayed in my mind. He said, when parents don't give a child boundaries or rules, it's terrifying. It's child abuse. You're terrifying the child because, as Jordan Peterson said, you're essentially throwing your child into the desert. Your child is lost in a desert. And if you give your child boundaries, you give your child a room with walls. And within those walls and boundaries, the child has the freedom and the confidence to play. It stuck with me as a watch obsessive, as someone who lives in a state of perpetual madness and who desperately needs boundaries, who needs to be in a cul-de-sac. Now, I didn't plan going into this very limited collecting method. I didn't plan on having 7 retro diver watches on straps. I didn't really plan it. It happened unconsciously. It happened spontaneously. I can think of there was sort of a landmark event, the summer of 2022. You see, what's interesting is my watch hobby has been more affected, more influenced by things that happen to me in the real world rather than on the online world, where I think online is your watch desert of madness. I think in the real world, there's more sanity. What happened was Rob of the Random Rob channel, for the last 3 years, he's invited me to a watch meetup in Long Beach at Mimo's. I love that name. So in the summer 2022, I was at such a watch meetup, and a gentleman by the name of Mark Alamaris, who has a YouTube channel, a great YouTube channel about watches called Average Brothers. He shows up wearing a slim turtle, a Seiko slim turtle, and it's on a black Tropic strap. And I don't know, man, there were a lot of watches at this meetup, much more expensive than his $800 slim turtle. But I don't know why, man, something happened to me. And the Tropic strap. And then Carlos was there. He had this like retro $10,000 camera. I can't remember the name of it. It started with an L. He said, "Oh yeah, this camera costs a lot of money," and that looked retro. And maybe I was going to retro nostalgia land, and I don't know. It set something off. It's like a backstory for a superhero movie. Yeah, well, Marvel's not doing very well right now, so don't go into that. Yeah, but so I didn't plan on having a small handful of diver watches on straps. It was spontaneous. It was unconscious. It was spurred by going to a watch meetup that had an effect on me. And the other thing is, I've been obsessed with watches since 2005. It's a long time, 18 going on 19 years. I've tried on lots of watches. I've had big watches, blah 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 blah, and I like the divers more, and I like being in my cul-de-sac, my retro diver cul-de-sac. Does this mean I'll be in it forever? Probably. I don't know. Why? Well, because I'm 62. I don't think I have a lot of room for, I don't know. I mean, what, am I going to take up violin? I play piano, but I don't know. I think this could be it. Which means I'll have no more content. No more content. Nothing to talk about. Just a silent little boy hiding in his room on Venado Court in 1968. Listening to the Beatles sing Hey Jude. Dude, you're losing your mind. I need to stop this video. The stream of consciousness is not doing me very well, is it? Ladies and gentlemen, are you in a watch cul-de-sac? Do you find it kind of a relief to be in one? Like, whoa, I can take a deep breath now. Take a break from the perpetual madness of the watch obsession. Let me know what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm out.